Welcome everyone to our weekly meditation, and this has been recorded on Monday evening, which marks the start of the Jewish festival of Passover or Pesach. And so I'm going to use some words from the order of service for the Passover meal, the ingredients of which are on the plate there, the Seder plate in front of us. This is the bread of destitution that our ancestors ate in the land of Egypt. Anyone who is famished should come and eat. Anyone who is in need should come and partake of the Pesach sacrifice. Now we are here. Next year we will be in the land of Israel. This year we are slaves. Next year we will be free people. So there's a number of ways that we could look at that, but I'm just very simply thinking of the combination of ritual, tradition that we touched on last week, combined with hospitality. And so as we come to this, our own time off that we've put aside, we go through our ritual of preparing ourselves, going through the routine of adjusting our position, feeling comfortable but alert, connected through the chair or sofa, connected through the ground, and taking 2 deep cleansing breaths in through the nose and out through the mouth. And either closing our eyes or lowering our gaze gently, resting our eyes, resting our hands where they fall comfortably in the lap or on the knees. And using an exercise borrowed from sort of Hebrew Jewish thinking, the idea that a human breath is life. When people died, God took their breath away. That was the cause of death. If someone lived, it was because God kept putting God's breath, God's spirit into the person. So it was the presence of this Spirit of God that kept the person alive. So as we focus, as is our practice, on our breath, consciously breathing in through the nose, consciously breathing in more slowly and more deeply, let's breathe in an awareness of our wider connectedness. This is an in-breath, and this is an out-breath. In and out. Filling and releasing. Breathing in a connectedness. Conscious we are sharing the ruach, the very breath of God. Sharing the same air that is breathed by every living thing. Eating from the same plate, drinking from the same cup, breathing the same air. So focus on whatever sensations you notice with the breath. Physical sensation of a filling, the releasing. Physical sound of the breath. Or possibly even a sense of the movement. However you notice it, be conscious that you're filling your lungs with the divine energy. If this is God's Spirit, then it can bring those things you need. A sense of calm. Breathing in, calm. Breathing in, balance. Maybe breathing in, strength. So keep breathing more deeply. Breathing purposefully. You're noticing your breath. Your focus is on the breath. Breathing in those things that we need. And breathing out anything we want to let go of. Breathing out any anxieties. Just gently letting them go. Maybe even breathing out some fears. Because in this moment there is nothing to do, nothing to fix, nothing to think through. So we let it all go. Gently breathe it out. As we've breathed in and we continue to breathe in that which makes us more whole. As we breathe out that which diminishes us. Perhaps we could even imagine a sense of becoming more radiant. The whole body becoming more radiant, more alive through this process of breathing in God's life-giving spirit and breathing out that which holds us down or holds us back or separates us. Perhaps a lightness of the light itself, a lightness of spirit, the lightness of the body, feeling less heavy. So if the breathing can help you to stay with this awareness, continue with that. And maybe add this to our regular practice, our routines, our daily patterns, none of which need to have much thought invested. They're more for our well-being, those practices of exercise, keeping up our social contacts. Perhaps the Benedictine practices of prayer, work, study, hospitality, renewal. But when a practice or a routine becomes more invested with real thought and meaning, perhaps that's when they become a ritual. So some lessons here from the ritual of the Passover meal, which Jewish friends will be observing tonight and over the next few days. A first thought: prayer, while important, is not enough. Moses prayed to the heavens, but God called on him to act as well. As with Richard Rohr, contemplation and action. And then a lovely ritual here called, it's about being thankful. Dayenu, I think, is the Hebrew word. It would have sufficed. So these are words that have been spoken for generations. If he had brought us out from Egypt and had not carried out judgments against them, Dayenu, it would have sufficed us. If he had smitten their firstborn and had not given us their wealth, Dayenu, it would have sufficed us. If he had given us their wealth and had not split the sea for us, Dayenu, it would have sufficed us. If he had split the sea for us and had not taken us through it on dry land, Dayenu, it would have sufficed us. If he had brought us before Mount Sinai and had not given us the Torah, Dayenu, it would have sufficed us. If he had given us the Torah and not brought us into the land of Israel, Dayenu, it would have sufficed us. If he had brought us into the land of Israel and had not built for us the temple, Dayenu, it would have sufficed us. And then particularly poignant at this time of conflict, I think, the reminder from the order of service, the Haggadah, to empathize with others. You shall not detest an Egyptian, because you were a stranger in that land. And then the power, I think, of the ritual, living with history. This isn't just intellectual awareness, but the very act of eating these foods, the bitter herbs, the unleavened bread, the crackers, tasting the bread of affliction, the bitter herbs of hardship, not simply remembering, but re-experiencing that, and thus keeping the memory alive. And my Jewish friends emphasized to me how important it is that their story is told to their children. So continuing the story. As indeed is commanded in as early as the book of Exodus. On that day, tell your son, I do this because of what the Lord did for me when I came out of Egypt. So our rituals, ways of engaging with history, of experiencing and remembering, but then of passing on to subsequent generations. And finally, that everyone has a seat at the table. 4 children are spoken of as sitting at the table: the wise son, the wicked son, the simple son, and the one who doesn't know how to ask. Each child is called one, emphasizing that each is of equal value, of equal importance. All being there, all part of the discussion, sharing the same past, staying together despite and perhaps because of their differences. And so maybe there's some ideas that are triggered by parts of that ritual that we might take into our silence. And we'll use music from Taizé, reflecting that idea of being thankful. In the Lord I'll be ever thankful. In the Lord I will rejoice. Look to God, do not be afraid. Lift up your voices, the Lord is near. And so in our silence, you may want to just follow the breath and use the breath. Practice self-awareness, or follow a line of thought that anything from what we've said so far triggers with you. And so as we come out of our silence, gently opening our eyes perhaps, some closing words from music we've heard before, Salt of the Sound. In the waiting, wash over me. From moments that overwhelm, would you set me free? Still this anxious heart, come breathe your word. In the midst of it all, you're my constancy.